Good morning. I'm in the soap room this morning making some mushroom scented whipped soap. This morning we're going to start by making the little tiny soap embeds that are going to go on top of the whipped soap. So I got some melt and pour cubed up there. I'm putting it in the microwave for 20-second bursts. Then I add some vegetable glycerin to that little container there and some true red mica from Mad Micas and mix that up. And you always want to disperse your mica into some vegetable glycerin when you are putting it in melt and pour soap. This keeps the mica from having specks in the soap and evenly distributes the mica into the glycerin soap. So they're both glycerin based, so it incorporates really well in there and gets it really smooth without any specks. So I'm going to pour the mica into the melt and pour, mix it up, and then pour those little mushroom soaps that are going to go on top of my whipped soaps. You want to make sure you pour slowly so that you don't end up having to come back and trim your little mushrooms. If you pour too fast, you get too much in there, you have to come back and trim them, which is exactly what I just did. So I'm just using my spatula to get rid of the extra. And then always spray the tops of your melt and pour soaps with isopropyl alcohol. It helps get rid of the bubbles on top of your soaps. Ignore my gray hairs there. So now I'm going to start with the body butter base. This body butter base I make in home with all kinds of really nice and nutrient things for your body. I do not buy my body butter base. That way I can control the ingredients that go into it. Plus it's really expensive if you buy it at the store. So this is what the base of my whipped soap is. So we're going to put the 500 grams into the mixer, and we're going to start that mixer. This whipped soap will have to mix for quite a long time to get to be full enough and creamy enough to pipe. So now you'll see me spraying down a lot of my equipment. I'm adding the hemp seed oil, the jojoba oil, and the almond oil. I spray down my equipment with isopropyl alcohol to get rid of any germs that might still be on it, even though I do dip all of my dishes into a bleach rinse before I start. I always make sure I spray everything down with alcohol. Now I'm going to be using Thousand Wishes fragrance in this whip soap. So I'm measuring out the fragrance oil and the mica that's going to go in here. So I also measured out the hemp seed oil, the jojoba oil, and the almond oil. Now I'm going to pop these little mushrooms out of the molds. You can see what they look like. They look very like my mushroom. I'm using the same mold as I used for the my little mushroom soaps that turned out fantastic. Here's the little mushrooms. They were a little light, so I did actually go back and add more red mica into that to darken it up because I wanted them red, not pink. So now I'm adding more of that mica in, and then I'm going to pour some more. Making the soap embeds for soaps, whip soaps, anything you make, sometimes it's the longest part of making the product because you have to pour it, wait for it to cool and harden, pour it, wait for it to cool and harden. So I'm just pouring some more, and then I will show you how we are going to paint these mushrooms. It's going to be a red mushroom, and we're going to paint it with some yellow mica. The little dots on the mushroom are going to be yellow. So here I am spritzing the top of the little soaps with alcohol and taking them out of the mold, and you can see that right there. I love these marshmallow soap molds. They are so cute. And then I'm going to show you how I mix the mica to paint the tops of these little soaps. So here I am carefully pouring some more mushrooms soap. If you get it just right, then you don't have to trim them and you don't make a mess. It just takes a lot of patience and practice. And now I will show you how to make the mica paint. So I'm using some yellow from Mad Micas. And what I do is I use the lid because it already has a little mica in it. I'm going to pour some alcohol into the lid there. Yeah, I like to use the 95% alcohol for this. That way it all dissipates quickly and dries. So then you just add some of your colorant in there and mix it up with a little brush. I'm just adding a little bit more of that mica and a little bit more alcohol. You don't want it too thin and you don't want it too thick. You definitely don't want any clumps left in it. But you also need enough mica in it to make it bright enough. So once you're happy with the thickness, where it's wet enough and not clumpy, you can paint it. So I just paint each little dot on the tops, and then the little stem give a little bit of color on the stem, and that's how it turned out. There's 3 different little mushrooms in this set. There's a tall one, a medium one, and a small one. And there you go. I'm painting the little, that was the tall one. And then here's a small one. Now I will paint the tops of each of these little mushrooms, let them dry before I start whipping up that soap. Now I'm going to turn on the mixer. This body butter base is going to have to mix for quite a bit. You want it to double in size. So I'm starting the mixing, and you'll notice I will start slowly adding in the oils. You always want to push down the sides of the body butter base a few times so that it's all mixed up together. And here I am slowly adding some oil. You can't quite see it. It's behind the little mixer there. I'm adding it to the side just a little bit at a time and then scraping it out. And that was the hemp seed, jojoba, and almond oil blend. That was 2 ounces of oils. Now I am adding the fragrance and the mica. And then you just gotta let this mix. And it takes a while. I did cut out quite a bit of the footage so that you didn't have to sit there and watch it mix for forever. But you'll notice that every once in a while I do go in and scrape the sides down so that everything is incorporated together and it's a beautifully nice, smoothly, fluffy, whipped soap. And you'll notice that it's just slowly getting a little bigger and a little bigger. It takes a little bit of patience. You don't want to stop too soon and you won't end up with a fluffy whipped body soap. It'll be too thick. So it's definitely important that you have patience. when waiting for this to get all fluffed up. There you go. I got it all scraped back into the middle, and I'm going to give it a little bit more of a whisk before I take it out. And now you got to get all of this whip soap out in between the little whisks there. Now I'm taking about a third or a fourth of the batter, and I'm going to split it off because I'm going to make the base of it the true red. And I'm just going to have a hint of the yellow in that. So I'm splitting it up, putting the yellow mica into the little bit that I have split off. You need to make sure that you mix this really, really good so that you don't have white chunks and yellow chunks in there. You want it all to be a smooth color. And then I'm going to add that true red into the base of it, of this whip soap, and make sure I mix it in really good. I'm not able to achieve a red in this because just the body butter base is so white, but I do want to get it just a little bit of a darker pink to match the mushroom tops. So I'm just adding in the red mica until I get a deep enough pink that I'm satisfied. And now I am putting the red and the yellow into the piping bag, just red, yellow, just a lot of red and a little bit of yellow in each little section. I wish I actually would have made a little bit more yellow than I did, but it is what it is. And then I'm smushing it all down in the bag. And then we can start piping it into the little jars. This is my favorite part. It's so fun to just pipe these. There you go. And you just want to make sure that you're getting the middles filled up too. So you'll notice I'll go in the middle, I'll go around, and then I'll go back in the middle. You got to fill that pipe back up one more time. And smooth it down. This will make 4 of these 8-ounce containers of whip soap. This whip soap is so fun. It is so much fun. It smells amazing, and it's really fun to use in the shower. Sometimes it can be tough to get the last little bit out. And now I am going to sprinkle some Sparkle Me Sunshine on top as a little bit of glitter. I did not put glitter in the whole thing because not everybody wants, glitter on their skin every day. So I just put it on the top. So the first use, you'll have some glitter in it, but after that, there won't be any. And then I just add the 3 little painted mushrooms on top. And it turns out so cute, you guys. I am in love with this mushroom mold. These tiny little mushrooms are so cute. I made a mushroom soap with them, and oh my gosh, one of my favorite soaps I've ever made. It was so cute. And look at that. They're turning out so beautiful. And then when I get the mushrooms on the top, I will put the lids on, and then I will put a little plastic band on so that it will be sealed and nobody can open it until it's time to use. And here's how they turned out. Look how cute they are. They turned out perfect, honestly. I wish there was a little more yellow in them, but really, They turned out amazing.
The real MVP of back to school?
So beautiful. How fun are these?